1. Rory McIlroy's Masters win, triumph, challenges and the road ahead. 2. Rory McIlroy's emotional reaction after missing the cut at the Open Championship 2019. 1. Rory McIlroy's Masters win, triumph, challenges and the road ahead. Rory McIlroy's triumph at the Masters addressed one significant challenge but inadvertently introduced another. What comes next? A sports psychologist sheds light on the phenomenon known as post-success melancholy. On June 30, 2025, Patrick Smith reported that Jack Nicklaus articulated a sentiment shared by many following McIlroy's Masters victory. This win will lift a tremendous weight off his shoulders, and we can expect to see an even more impressive performance from Rory McIlroy moving forward, Nicklaus remarked during a CBS broadcast. After a grueling 11-year quest to achieve the Grand Slam, McIlroy had finally succeeded. Surely, this would mark the beginning of an unstoppable phase in his career, right? However, the reality has been quite different. The weeks and months following McIlroy's Masters win have been anything but smooth. In May, he finished tied for 47th at the PGA Championship, where it was revealed that his driver had been tested and found to be non-compliant with regulations. He chose not to engage with the media after any of his rounds at the PGA Championship. When he finally spoke after the third round of the US Open in June, his demeanor was far from cheerful. "I feel like I've earned the right to do whatever I want to do," McIlroy stated regarding his decision to skip media obligations. At Oakmont, McIlroy exhibited frustration by slamming his clubs and even breaking a tee marker. When he barely made the cut, he humorously remarked about his lack of concern for the weekend. "It's much easier being on the cut line when you don't really care if you're here for the weekend or not," he chuckled. After finishing the final round with a score of 67, placing him tied for 19th, McIlroy addressed the media again, this time discussing his motivation. "If I can't get motivated to get up for an Open Championship at home, then I don't know what can motivate me," he said, referring to the final major of the year set to take place at Royal Portrush in his home country of Northern Ireland in July. "As I mentioned, I just need to get myself in the right mindset. I probably haven't been there in the last few weeks. I climbed my Everest in April, and after achieving something like that, you have to find your way back down and seek out another mountain to conquer," McIlroy explained. An Open at Portrush is certainly one of those challenges. The unexpected struggle. McIlroy's comments about feeling unmotivated are surprising, especially when compared to the last golfer to complete the Grand Slam. After Tiger Woods secured his Grand Slam by winning the Open Championship at St. Andrews in 2000, he went on to win the next two majors. While the reactions and outcomes of Woods and McIlroy post-slam were markedly different, Dr. Deborah Graham, a sports psychologist with extensive experience in the field, suggests that McIlroy's situation is not entirely unexpected. She describes what McIlroy is experiencing as a form of post-success melancholy, a term often associated with Olympians who face emotional lows after the games conclude. The context of McIlroy's Grand Slam achievement differs significantly from Woods'. At just 24 years old, Woods reached his goal relatively quickly, without enduring 11 years of speculation and pressure. For McIlroy, the focus on this singular goal was intense, which can create its own set of challenges, even in success. Some refer to it as post-success downer or post-success melancholy, where you've had a singular goal that feels all-consuming because it's what everyone discusses, Dr. Graham explains. "I can envision McIlroy having this as a major target for a long time. And as he mentioned, once you achieve a goal, you must find something to fill that void, or else it can leave you feeling empty." By expressing the need for another mountain to climb, McIlroy acknowledges that he lacked a plan after the Masters. He is the type of player who thrives when he has a clear goal to strive for in order to perform at his best. Dr. Graham suggests that the best way to fill this void is to take some time off. However, the busy schedule did not permit that, as McIlroy participated in two majors within 2 months following his Masters victory. Considering all these factors, McIlroy's unusual comments and club slamming begin to make more sense. "We often overlook it, but when we achieve a significant goal, we can lose our sense of purpose," Dr. Graham noted. When your aspirations are tied to a specific outcome, achieving that outcome can lead to a sense of emptiness. This is where Wood's unique strength shines through. He emphasizes the importance of finding joy in the process of working hard. The joy comes from putting in the effort, grinding it out, and competing against the best players in the world, Wood stated after the 2001 Masters. Going head-to-head with David Duval and Phil Mickelson, both playing exceptionally well, is what it's all about. That challenge, regardless of the outcome, is why we play, to experience that thrill. That's what motivates my practice, the feeling of needing to execute under pressure against the best players. The beauty of this mindset is that the work is always present. Regardless of how many tournaments Woods wins, the effort remains constant. This is why, after achieving his Grand Slam, Woods remained calm, composed, and ready to tackle the next two majors. It was all part of a process he relished. McIlroy's journey, however, is different. There is no right or wrong way to respond to achieving a long-term goal. It simply reflects the reality of individual personalities. McIlroy's experience has not aligned with expectations. He does not appear to be a man who has just shed a tremendous burden, poised to win any tournament he enters. Not yet, at least. A new chapter. Fortunately, McIlroy is about to receive the time he needs. Following his time at Oakmont, he traveled to Connecticut for the Travelers' Championship, where he shot impressive rounds of 64-71-68-65, expressing newfound confidence in his driver. He also mentioned plans to return to the UK for a couple of weeks off before competing in the Scottish Open, and then the Open Championship. More than anything, I think it will be beneficial for me mentally to take a break and, as I said, return to my roots in the UK, which I'm looking forward to. I've hinted that I probably haven't taken enough time to reflect after what happened in April, so I'm eager to do a bit of that over the next 2 weeks, McIlroy shared after his final round in Connecticut. What McIlroy is seeking aligns perfectly with Dr. Graham's advice. After taking time to enjoy life and engage in different activities, it's essential to regain balance and then take a moment to redefine your purpose, Dr. Graham suggests. What is my mission here? Some players even need to revisit the question, why am I competing, and then identify a motivating goal to structure their lives around. Just because McIlroy has felt somewhat out of sorts after achieving the Grand Slam, does not mean this feeling will last indefinitely. Reflections from others. Lydia Ko, who recently achieved the significant milestone of qualifying for the LPGA Hall of Fame, an accomplishment known for its difficulty, was asked to compare her experience with McIlroy's. By winning gold at the Paris Olympics, she secured her final point for qualification. I believed that my life or my self-perception would transform upon entering the Hall of Fame and accomplishing many of my goals before it actually happened. I can imagine Rory feels similarly, especially since everyone was saying, oh, the Masters was the one he was missing. What if? And then he did it. As much as I'm sure he feels joy and relief, he was just as capable the day before he won it, Ko reflected. This realization made me understand that I still need to practice and invest time to perform well in the following week. We tend to be greedy in that regard, nothing will completely satisfy us until we achieve everything we desire, Ko added. I believe that's why we play. It's also why he has reached such a high level due to his competitive nature. There is no definitive right or wrong way to react to achieving a long-term goal. Instead, it's about recognizing the different experiences that various personalities undergo. McIlroy's journey has not unfolded as anticipated. He does not seem like a man who has just released a tremendous weight from his shoulders, ready to conquer any tournament he enters. Not yet. 2. Rory McIlroy's emotional reaction after missing the cut at the Open Championship 2019. The crushing weight of hometown expectations nearly broke Rory McIlroy during his disastrous 2019 Open Championship collapse, but what happened next revealed an astonishing truth about failure. As the Northern Irish star prepares to return to Royal Portrush, let's revisit the emotional roller coaster that reshaped his perspective on golf's greatest pressures. 4 years ago, the golf world watched in disbelief as McIlroy carded a catastrophic quadruple bogey on his very first hole at Portrush. The nightmare continued with an opening round 79 that left him fighting just to survive the cut. Though he rebounded heroically with a second-round 65, featuring 9 birdies against just 3 bogeys, his 2-over total fell agonizingly short of the 1-over cutoff. Here's the twist: despite the heartbreak, McIlroy called this crushing exit one of the most fun rounds I've ever played. But how could missing the cut possibly be fun, you might ask? This is where McIlroy's experience becomes a masterclass in emotional resilience. The 4-time major winner confessed through visible emotion, "I came here wanting to win for myself, but by the final putt, I realized I was playing equally for these incredible fans." The gallery's thunderous support during his Friday charge transformed what could have been a humiliating exit into a cathartic celebration of community. Let's break down the numbers that tell this dramatic story. First round disaster, 8 bogeys/double bogeys versus just 4 birdies. Second round revival, 9 birdies against only 3 dropped shots. Crucial collapse, 5 shots lost over the final 3 holes Thursday. Now here's the controversial part some analysts miss: was McIlroy's emotional response genuine vulnerability, or calculated image management? The golfer himself fueled debate by stating, "You're only as good as your last round. I showed the real Rory McIlroy today." This raw honesty either reveals a champion's unshakable self-belief or hints at deeper confidence struggles. What's your take? As we look to this year's tournament, consider these historical parallels. Portrush first hosted the Open in 1951, won by England's Max Faulkner. Shane Lowry's 2019 victory margin, 6 strokes, was the largest since 2008. McIlroy's career has followed a pattern of dramatic bounce-backs after major disappointments. Final thought to debate: should elite athletes prioritize personal achievement over fan expectations? McIlroy's statement, "I wanted to feel that support for 2 more days," suggests even champions crave validation. Does this humanize him, or reveal unexpected vulnerability? Share your perspective below. Do you believe McIlroy's Portrush experience ultimately strengthened or weakened his competitive edge?